Aloha to our colleagues in Washington, D.C. We're speaking to you from Leeward Community College. We're located at Pearl Harbor on the island of Oahu. Appropriately, we're doing this taping here for the panel in LCC's new education building. It was designed and built in no small part for the program that we want to talk to you about today. With me is Professor Bobby Martell, who with her team was responsible for the creation and the accreditation of the only CTE teacher education program offered at a community college in the nation. We're pretty proud of that, and we're very proud of Bobby. But before I turn the baton to Bobby, I want to put things in context for you there who don't know Hawaii very much. We have one K-12 system in Hawaii, one public university with 10 campuses, and one workforce system. And those are spread out over 4 counties. Oahu, or Honolulu, is one. Maui, which is 3 islands, Maui Island, Lanai, and Molokai. Kauai and Hawaii Island are most commonly known as the Big Island. Those are our 4 counties. And more of our state is rural than you might expect or might imagine. We have 43 high schools spread out on those counties, 7 community colleges, and all of them offer programs of study, CT programs of study, in one or more of the 9 career pathways, or career clusters is what most of the nation calls. We call them pathways. Our high school teachers are certified in one of those career pathways. And like the rest of the nation, we have a significant shortage of CT teachers in our high school. So to address that shortage, the community colleges stepped up and created the program you're going to hear about from Bobby. So Bobby, can I turn the baton to you?
You certainly can. Thank you, Bernadette. I too am honored to be here and to have the opportunity to showcase a program that I believe is really making a difference in the state of Hawaii. We were challenged in 2012 to design a program, an alternative pathway toward licensure, in order to be able to, number one, recruit new upcoming teachers. Many of our high schools were finding that their programs were shutting down because they could not find a teacher workforce. And secondly, to be able to bring people from industry who have the best, the most recent content expertise and bring them into our high schools to really serve the population in a new and different way. The first question that we were asked to speak about were the policies that affect the work that we're doing. We are very thankful for forward-thinking people in our state who've been very supportive. Hawaii Teacher Standards Board, who is the licensing agency for teachers of all content, designed a new business item that supported alternative pathways in order to be able to be alluring to people who are career changers, people who want to add a field. They allowed the alternative pathway to have multiple ways that someone could demonstrate their content expertise. And I'll talk a little bit more when we go through our next 2 questions about our program specifically. But the policies that HTSB have put in place are very supportive for our teacher candidates who are, again, coming with content expertise, but they didn't have the pedagogical knowledge. How do I teach that content? And that's the role that we play. We were also asked to speak to the point of what more could be done. And one of the challenges that I think that we see is that finances could be an issue. People are leaving industry, getting paid very well, but they have a passion to give back to their community. They have a passion to be able to make a difference for youth coming up through the career pathways. So if we could design a system for tuition assistance, which could support these folks who are adding a field of CTE, perhaps they're currently teaching as a math teacher, but they really have a passion for natural resource. So if they could have tuition assistance in order to be able to take the coursework that is needed to add that field to their existing license, that would be fantastic. Also stipends for people who don't have degree yet, but they have got the content. And then finally, if there was any stipend that would be available for folks, just an enticement to come in, because we know, especially if a program has shut down, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of creativity to get that CTE program up and running again. So I think that would be very beneficial to have stipends and tuition assistance.
What are the differences in the needed preparation and support related to traditional versus alternative pathways?
So again, we're very thankful for HTSB, Hawaii Teacher Standards Board, thinking out of the box. And they have created a new business item in 2012, which mandates or dictates to us the multiple ways that someone can demonstrate their content. Traditional programs don't have the flexibility that we have been given as an alternative program. And we understand that career and technical education needs flexibility. So again, we're extremely thankful. We are the only alternative pathway in the state of Hawaii and nationwide, I discovered as we were going through our national accreditation at a community college level. Our SATEP, or State Approved Teacher Ed label given to us by Hawaii Teacher Standards Board, we are a post-bac-like program. And that really places us in a different place than most traditional programs who have more stringent requirements. And at our end, we have a lot more flexibility.
Well, and as the state director for CTE, I have learned a great deal more about the needs and the deficiencies or the lack of teachers and teacher preparation programs. But more than that, we need to think out of the box. As you said, that saying gets a little old, but it's true in this case. The occupations that we're training students for now are different. And there's so many cross-discipline areas that students need to know about and teachers need to be able to teach to. So I think even when we do in your program and in any new programs that we devise, there's going to have to be a lot more flexibility and adaptation to and I guess evaluation of new ways of doing the teaching. Of CTE, traditional kinds of teaching is not going to cut it for much more. The jobs don't need that anymore. They need something very different. So we're going to have to train teachers to do that differently. I'm not sure what the answers are, and Hawaii doesn't have them yet, but I think collectively we can, and well, we must.
I love that. And another look as to comparing alternative with traditional. The minimum requirement for coming into our alternative program is an associate degree and 3 years, a minimum of 3 years of industry experience. Folks are teaching with associate degrees because at this point the Licensure Board as well as the Department of Education now views when a person is coming in with industry experience, it equates to sitting in a classroom to complete a bachelor's degree. And therefore, we are so thankful, again, for the forward thinking that's been going on. So our associate folks who complete our program, and they will complete 17 credits, and I'll talk a little more specifically about that in just a moment. But they complete our program, we recommend for license. They are hired in the Hawaii Department of Education at the same salary level as an entering bachelor's degree person. And just recently, it has been approved that they also can go ahead up the career ladder, salary ladder, by taking professional development, the same as a person with a bachelor's degree. So that prior learning experience is being recognized as a great value coming into our classrooms.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm sure this is an issue around the nation as well.
Absolutely.
We all have it. Can you explain to our colleagues on the East Coast how your program works, some examples of the kinds of things that you have developed? Because it is and can be scaled up, and I think would be a model for the rest of them to hear.
Absolutely, I'd be pleased to do that. And certainly we are here for anyone who wants to do a program like ours, that we can certainly be a resource. So we are approved to be able to teach the pedagogical knowledge for the 6 career pathways that are presently in our middle and high schools. Our candidates enter with expertise through degree and/or industry experience. We teach them how to teach. And then we're also supervising them in a practicum setting. So, for instance, we have 2 tracks. First, if you're entering with an associate degree and a minimum of 3 years of industry experience, like any entrance to a college of ed, they are required to pass the Praxis Core exam. Once entering our courses, they will take 17 credits. Core education courses along with 2 semesters of practicum. The first being an observation and participation for 150 hours, the second student teaching. Many of our candidates are hired on emergency teaching licenses through the HTSB board, and they are already teaching in classrooms themselves as the teacher of record. Therefore, they complete their practicum in their classroom. They don't have to give up any salary, any wage, or interrupt their regular teaching life. Other candidates who are not employed, we place them into classrooms, and this is statewide. Again, all of our courses are online so that we can service those that are in the workforce, but also reaching out to the entire state. So it's been very effective. During their practicum, they will have a college supervisor who will visit them both semesters, a minimum of 5 times. First semester is a mentoring, really giving them that support as they're learning to become teachers. Second semester is where they are formally observed and assessed. At the point that they complete, some of whom complete, most of whom want to complete in 1 year, then we recommend for license. We also link them with the DOE to make sure that they have completed all the required paperwork. Our licensing board comes and meets with our candidates to walk them through that process of how they apply for a license, and it has been a win-win situation. Those entering with a bachelor's degree, and we've had bachelor's, master's, and 2 PhD degrees come through our CTE program. They are taking 11 credits, so 3 core education courses. Now, how did we decide what those courses were going to be? There's so much in a traditional College of Ed program. Well, we looked at the essentials, classroom management, a full semester on what do I do to set up my routines, my rules, and especially in a shop situation where there are so many concerns. Foundations of inclusion in teaching. How do I teach to a diverse group of students? And we know that in a CTE classroom, you'll have the gifted and talented, and sometimes you'll have the special ed student. How do I diversify my instruction in my content class? And then finally, educational psychology, where they're learning how to put together unit plans and lesson plans, and that filters through all of our courses so that they have great support from their professors as well as their college supervisors in order to be able to really hone their craft in a short period of time. At this point, we began in 2012 with 2 students who were on emergency licenses at one of our local high schools here on Oahu, and they were about to lose their job because there was no place for them to go to get the work that they needed, the program that they needed. And so Hawaii Teacher Standards Board let us bring them in, even though we weren't completely approved yet, but we were on the road, just so they could keep their positions. So now we have a total of 75 who've come through the program, 46 of whom are licensed in teaching statewide. And we're thrilled because now we're putting our newest student teachers in classrooms with folks who've come through our program who act as cooperating teachers. And that's been a fabulous opportunity for them because now there's a peer mentoring going on. So it's been a win-win situation.
For those who want to go through the traditional route from high school to college or university, what options do they have in Hawaii right now to become a CTE licensed teacher?
So those coming from high school pathways who go into a traditional university, they could, for instance, if they are interested in business, they have to go the traditional route of a 4-year degree and again go through the licensing situation, which means a post-bac to get the pedagogical aspect. So it is a lengthier process. And there are traditional programs at numerous private and public universities here in Hawaii, but we're the only alternative pathway to that. And with that said, though, just as a little bit of information, we have multiple programs under our teacher ed program here at Leeward Community College. We started with an associate in arts and teaching. So we might have someone who has a great background, industry background in graphic arts, but perhaps they don't have a degree. So they're coming through our associate in arts and teaching program, getting their gen eds along with their core education courses. Many of those courses are in our CTE program as well. Therefore, once they complete their AAT, they come into our alt cert, do their practicum, and they can become licensed. So we have pathways to support career changers in all kinds of ways.
And I expect everybody's got to come up with as many options as we can because we have that many individuals and we have that much need.
Absolutely.
We have that much need. I was at a meeting this morning talking about early college options and dual credit options, and CTE was actually a central focus of the discussion today, and the need for, and so I'm so pleased that Hawaii is now recognizing an associate degree and experience for high school teachers to be able to offer those classes, because now they can also offer courses for college credit because they'll meet the same requirements for at the community colleges for teaching it. So we're making small steps, but we are making steps to deal with it. Yours is the best foot forward that we've put in the state, and we thank you for all you and your team have done. And before we say goodbye to our colleagues on the East Coast at the ACT conference, then please, we will provide, or Steve will provide you with our contact information if you want to follow up with questions or clarifying anything that we did say. And one thing, I told you there were 9 career pathways in the state, and Bobby said 6. There had been 6, and officially to the National Teacher Standards Board and the Hawaii Teacher Standards Boards, we have 6. But we are in the process of shifting to 9, and that will be addressed when the time comes.
We'll also include our website so that anyone who wants more information or more detail as to the history of how we began will provide that, because it is very fun to read, I think.
The one thing you cannot do is steal her from Leeward Community College in Hawaii. We couldn't afford to lose her. So with that, we're going to say aloha and mahalo. Bye.